This is Wanderhoof.
Hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
All we really know at this point is we're broken down in the middle of the road, waiting for the engine to cool, so that way we can actually put more transmission fluid in and get about 5 blocks that way where the mechanic is, that is not open because it's 9 o'clock, and Shannon is... Shannon, anything? Gotta make the best of a bad situation, and this situation's pretty bad, so...
The Alaskan-Canadian Highway means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. To freight hauling truck drivers getting paid by the mile, it's a decent paycheck. To retired couples across the state of Alaska snowbirding to warmer lands for the winter, it's a short goodbye. For Shannon and I, it's a bittersweet reminder of our naive journey 4 years ago when we left the Northwest in search of something we thought we'd find in Alaska. We didn't quite get what we were after in the 49th state, but we did find a small piece of it on this long stretch of highway called the Alcan. We learned we loved the road, the mystery of not knowing, where we'd eat, where we'd sleep, and what we'd do when we got there, wherever there was. It's what inspired us to do what we're doing now, traveling the country to discover the mysteries of its highways and byways. But there are a few things to mention that happened on our way up this highway for the first time. The first of which is I asked Shannon to marry me. And for some reason, against the better angels of her nature, she said yes. The second thing that happened, somewhere around Tok, Alaska, I came down with a massive tooth infection that literally almost killed me and made me look like this after about only 4 days. So let's get you caught up. We packed some stuff.
So today is the first day that we've been able to actually pack up some stuff. Boom!
Tried orange vanilla Coke for the first time.
Orange, vanilla orange.
Said goodbye to some things at the dump. And found some new things at the dump.
No. He thinks he's bringing it home.
Of course, got cold feet about buying an RV.
This could either be like a really good use of our money, or like we could be like setting it on fire. There's no way to tell.
Bought it anyway.
Maybe a little slower. Maybe a little slower.
And we left. Just outside of Fairbanks was our first stop, Delta Junction. Cueing the end of the Alaska Highway for some, but the beginning for us. We knew we had to stop at The Cave for some of the best food around. And you guys know how much we love sculptures. This is the 2015 Milepost, a travel Bible for anyone looking to make the journey up the Alcan, especially for the first time. Where to stop, where to sleep, eat, get gas, and map your adventure mile by mile, or kilometer by kilometer when you get into Canada. During our first trip, it was our lifeline and we were grateful to have it. During our second trip, this is the 2019 Milepost. We bought it, tucked it away, and only looked at it once, as far as either of us can remember. Later that night, we we slept in front of the good old Tooth-Killin' Taylor official Tok, Alaska post office. The next morning, we stowed away safely all of our illegal drugs and firearms before arriving at customs and crossed over the international boundary and headed into Canada. That's a joke. By some means, we found ourselves staying at the Discovery RV Park just across the border. It was a beautiful spot just beside this mountain where Coda had all this room to run and play. If you're staying here for a couple bucks, you can actually buy some homemade shepherd's pie from the lady behind the counter if you ask nicely.
We did stay one day longer because Taylor got sick. He got what I had, but he's feeling better now, and we're gonna hit the road.
I don't feel bad for saying this next part, so don't even try to make me in the comments. Whitehorse is not a good place. It's filled with shady characters, and we've been told by locals on 2 separate occasions that break-ins on those drifting through is a common occurrence. So, if you're driving through, I suggest you do what we do. We wave, smile, and keep driving.
Skirt, 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 skirt.
We made it to Watson Lake, found a cheap spot, and asked the owner where we could get some food. His straight-faced, hard-boiled answer was the grocery store, which honestly is solid advice for anywhere, I guess. The only thing that is most certainly, definitely, you gotta check out in Watson Lake is the Signpost Forest.
I just kept keeping on in my stride. You've been waiting out there somewhere in the wind. Yes, it's true. It just goes to show it ain't over till the fat lady sings. Better late than never for us to come around.
The next day was our 2-year wedding anniversary. Which, if you've lived any amount of time on planet Earth, means you could probably guess this was the day when the proverbial shit landed smack dab in the fan. And you'd be right. Let's start with the cool stuff. We saw a black bear. And then this bison. And then a whole herd of bison. We finally made it to the Liard Hot Springs where the park rangers kindly informed us we had a significant leak. Sure enough, we had a leak, and it was very significant. A ton of fluid had dumped from the bottom of our RV.
Is the leak.
We decided to check out the hot springs first, trying to salvage our day of celebration and push the issue to the back of our minds. Glad we did. It was a beautiful, secluded area, completely isolated in nature. It was the perfect, most romantic spot for a wedding anniversary and the absolute worst place imaginable to be dealing with engine trouble. We were in the middle of the Northern Rocky Mountains with no internet, no cell service, and only one gas station and lodge in sight. Now, I'm old enough to remember a time before the internet, so whatever. We cut our swim short to try to use some of the daylight to diagnose the problem, which didn't take too long for my untrained caveman eyeball to spot that all of our transmission fluid had dumped out of the bottom of our vehicle.
Why are you filming me?
The only thing we could really do was buy as much transmission fluid as possible from the tiny gas station, slam it into the engine, turn the key, press on the gas, and Bob's your uncle. That is where we're going to end it, because the next chapter of our story takes place in the next town we made it to out of sheer dumb luck, Fort Nelson. That place has its own story, and one we'll never forget.
'Cause I just wanna call my friends and see what they're